Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews coming at you guys with Zoo Season 3 Episode 10. I don't even know what I just watched. Honestly, I can't believe it. Let's get into the review. Alright, so, man, I don't know. This is the craziest episode of Zoo that we've probably maybe even ever seen. The ending to this is what? I thought it was a dream or something. I don't know. It looks pretty real. I don't know, guys. This is just a crazy episode. I liked it, but I thought, the ending just came out of nowhere. I mean, and this isn't even a finale. So, I don't even know what to say right now. I tweeted out last night, too, after I watched the episode. I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. As well, follow me on Twitter as well if you want to see. I don't really put a lot of stuff on there about about shows. I just usually like to and retweet some stuff. So if you want to follow me on there, links in the description. But yeah. So anyways, I tweeted on there last night. I was like, what is going on? And so yeah. So, anyways, good episode. All in all, I thought it was pretty good. I thought that some things could have been a little bit more explained a little bit, I guess, and a few of the things were kind of weird. But yeah, nonetheless, let's get into the recap. I mean, yeah, this episode's really just memorable for the ending, right? I mean, the rest of the episode wasn't too exciting. But that ending was crazy. So, anyways, we start out with Logan and his team going to this nest in Seoul, Korea. I'm not sure if I said this in the last one, but Seoul is in Korea, not China. I think I said China in the last one. So that's my bad on that. And so they basically go in here to plant explosives so they can blow this nest up. And he launches chem packs, which is kind of weird. It looks like a laser gun or something, and he shoots two of them in random spots, and then that stops the spores. Obviously, it's pretty unrealistic, but so that's to suppress the spores. So they have some time in there to plant the explosives and do what they have to do. And I just thought, how can the spores get through these suits? What kind of spores are these, right? I don't know. They're wearing these protective suits and and the big gas masks and everything, right? They're fully protected, and somehow these spores can get in the suits. So I don't really know how how that's possible. Obviously they're pretty bad, but yeah, so it's pretty crazy. So one of his men, starts getting sick from the spores all of a sudden. So they kind of have to evacuate. They bring him back through the door, but it's too late. And it was really kind of gross. He kind of all of a sudden, spit up blood, or sort of a burp sort of thing. And he just blood just came out, and he died there. So he dies. So now that's what, 23? I think because we had 22 last episode. So 23 now that have died because of these nests. And that's just soldiers, right? That's not just that's not civilians. So they kind of showed them the amount of time that they have is pretty short in there. They were only in there for a few minutes before this guy died. I would like to say I'm doing things a little bit out of order here. I'm kind of taking they had a lot of storylines in this one, and they had 3-4 scenes for each storyline, but they were kind of out of place throughout the episode. So I kind of just tie them all in. This one, they find out this friend dies, a little bit after. So that's just what I am going to do. So basically Jackson saves Abe then from Sam holding him at gunpoint there in the plane, because, Sam figures out that, what's happening with Clem, and she's kind of having that seizure in the tank. Then once Sam's taking care of, Abe injects this hybrid growth sample, which I like that they used this again, because he kind of found this earlier in the season, and I like when the shows connect back information from earlier, so that we kind of think about it again. And yeah, so I like the way he did that. So he does it, injects it into Clem in the tank, and he's able to save the baby. But as a result, he speeds up the pregnancy and basically, puts her into labor, essentially. So when she gets out of the tank, as we see at the end of the episode, she's basically the baby's about to come. So, and again, I'm not sure if that's, that's obviously not possible. But anyways, it's the show. So yeah, and then Jackson takes Sam to a cage and kind of locks him up there. He has a talk with him later on, but I don't know. We just kind of learned the same thing, so I didn't really include that too much in the recap. So then Jamie makes a deal with Mr. Duncan. So this was interesting as well, a different kind of storyline. That Jamie makes a deal so that he can have the switch out of the safe if he kills Abigail for Jamie, because she knows Mitch would never do it, so she gets Duncan to do it. Duncan accepts the offer. She puts in the first 4 digits, and he puts in the last 4 digits of the safe. And yeah, so that's kind of what goes on. They make this deal, and so it looks like both of them need to go back, get the switch, and so that Duncan can get it in the end if he actually kills Abigail. So Jackson then convinces Abe to save Abigail. So then he kind of starts working on her and trying to save her. And Jamie's exactly right. We kind of see that she's saying they'll want to save her, and Jackson has a big heart or something, and then it kind of shows as she's talking, her voice is kind of overlaid on the scene where Jackson's telling Abe to save her. So that was interesting. Really a smart thing for Jamie to know exactly what's going to happen. So then Agent Garrison goes to Milwaukee, where Dariella is staying, asks her to join the IADG, and I don't know. I thought we were done with Dariella at this point. I thought that she would just go back with Isaac. Maybe we'd see some scenes. Maybe she'd help out Abe or something. But I don't know. I don't get it, man. I think this whole storyline is really backwards. I think the reason she left was to take care of Isaac, to get him out of that sort of atmosphere, the plane, all of that stuff, and just be at home with him and be away from everything. And then 1 episode later, she's just back with the IADG, right? So, I don't know. It just frustrates me a little bit. And I'm not a big fan of Dariella right now, just the way she's been acting. Not the actor who's playing her, but I mean the character. So, I don't know. Agent Garrison, says he'll ensure her son's safety with guards there at the place. And yeah, so, this is the same reason she left the plane. So now why is she going back to the IADG? I don't know. But Abe tells her to take the job on the phone, which, I mean, why would he tell her to take the job in this situation? She just left him on the plane with his son. I don't know. I just think the whole thing's kind of backwards. I think the writing for this is kind of off. But anyways, he tells her to take the job, and that a woman named Isabel or something can take care of their son, and that's kind of that. So, I don't know. I was really frustrated with that, to see that whole storyline again. But, I don't know. They have to have something for Daryl, I guess. So then Max and Mitch try to save Abigail. They find out that she's losing spinal fluid and she's dying because the sample that Jackson took, I guess, punctured something. And so, she needs to be injected with more to save her. And so Mitch... at the time there, well, it's not really Mitch, right? It's Duncan. So, he kind of jokes with Max, or, Max asks him something. He doesn't know the answer to it. So Max is kind of, I think, getting a little bit, curious of what's going on. Maybe, why would Mitch act like that or something? So he's kind of catching on a little bit, but obviously he doesn't know fully. So then Dariella gets to the IADG and is welcomed. And I just I really like the Agent Garrison character so far. I think he's just seems like a good guy. But I think he is up to something here. I think that he's got to have something to do with it. I don't think he just all of a sudden comes up with the IADG and all of a sudden, helps out Logan and Dariella and gives them jobs. I don't know. I think he's up to something. I'm not sure what yet. Personally, I hope he's just a good guy and, he's fighting the cause. But I really like his character. Some mystery behind it because we don't know really where he's from. We just know that, he's where he is now. So really, really cool character. And the actor's doing a great job as well with the dramatic scenes and all that. So, yeah, good, all good stuff there. And then Abe tells Jackson that she needs the spinal fluid from all the hybrid samples they've obtained to make the cure for sterility. So it's kind of, like do we save her or do we save the human race? And obviously, why, it's obviously going to be human race. But Jackson, kind of gets a third option. He says that he can get more from the nest that contains, every type of hybrid in Seoul, where Logan is. And, then Abe can give their hybrid samples that they have now to Abigail to save her. So Jackson goes to the nest with Logan to go and get these samples, and we kind of see him arriving there with Dariella talking to Logan, saying, unofficially, you guys are going to go in and get the samples. So, yeah, definitely kind of interesting. Really cool to see Jackson and Logan working together. And I have more on this as well. So, then Duncan tells Jamie that he switched the fluid sample that Abe gave her. And this is another question. So Abe gives her the hybrid, the spinal fluid sample, right? Or I don't know, I guess the solution, right? So he gives her that, and Duncan says that he switched on her. So does that mean that the sample is still intact and is in another bottle somewhere, and Abe grabbed the wrong bottle? Or did Duncan put the epinephrine in that bottle? I don't know, because if it's still around, then we didn't really need Jackson to go to the nest. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but he says that he switched the food sample with epinephrine, and that'll kill Abigail right away. And he basically makes it look like Abe was the one who killed her. So a little dark, but Abe, nothing really he can do, right? He didn't know, and it's a good way to Duncan for doing it. Abe tries saving her to no avail, doing CPR and all that, but she's already dead, so she ends up dying, and kind of works out just like Jamie wanted. So her plan looks to be intact and looks to be good, but then we kind of see her secretly going to the safe without Duncan. So then Duncan confronts Jamie. Jamie's trying to get the switch, and Mitch holds a knife to his throat and threatens to slit his throat so that Mitch will die, because he knows Jamie cares about Mitch. He tells Jamie to step away from the safe, and Jamie surprises him with turning the really bright lights on, and she starts wrestling him for the switch once he kind of drops it on the floor. And this was an interesting scene. I mean, I don't know how, Duncan's supposed to be a personality, right? Like a totally different person. So I don't know how he knows that he's in Mitch's body, and how, if he cut his throat, then Mitch would die. I don't think that whole thing, I don't think he would have the intelligence to figure that out. But it is what it is, right? It's not everything's going to be realistic. So, yeah. But smart for him to threaten that, because, he knows that would get Jamie. So anyways, so the switch is on the ground, they're kind of fighting for it, and then meanwhile, it's kind of a funny scene, but meanwhile, Max's hybrid snake hatches out of that little box he left it in his room, and it slithers through, and it gobbles up the switch right in front of them. So it's just kind of funny, really ironic, right? That this, hybrid snake would come in just exactly where they are and get the switch, so... it was kind of funny, and a cool little twist to put in here as well. So then Abe, this was really, interesting. Abe tells Dariella there's a red light, blinking under Abigail's skin that may be activating the beacons. So the beacons are starting to activate in Australia, I think in Japan, in Tokyo. So and we see this red light as well. So it enabled when her heart stopped. Abe says it's a dead man switch. So really interesting that Abigail would program something like that. Dariella tells Jackson and Logan, that they need to get out of the nest as the eggs are, starting to hatch now that these beacons are activated. Jackson's able to get the final sample from the hybrid egg just in time. And Agent Garrison, we had a side-by-side with the IDG and then Jackson and Logan. And Agent Garrison orders the nest to be detonated because, he'd rather deal with some of the spores getting out than, thousands of hybrids just running wild in the streets. And so Dariella, leads them to the stairwell and saves from the explosion. She detonates it. and they're able to kill this nest and all the hybrids in it. Yeah, so she saves them though. Luckily, we had like a little time in there where we like weren't sure they were alive or not. Obviously, Jackson's main character, he's not gonna die. Neither is Logan. So we knew that they were alive. It was just a matter of time. And yeah, so she ends up saving them. So she was a little bit heroic in this episode, right, with her new role at the IADG. I will give her that. I just still don't get why she's there. So that's just me. So then Max and Jamie finally find the snake, and Jamie stabs it, cuts it open, and reaches in, gets the switch out. So that was kind of gross but cool at the same time. And Jamie's about to turn Mr. Duncan back when she gets the switch from Max. And Duncan tells them that the die has been cast, and that him and Abigail left a treat for them. So he's sort of talking like this, and Max kind of takes it as he's just saying a lot of stuff because he knows he's about to die or whatever, right? Or be switched off. So he kind of just gets the switch right away, and right before he does it, Duncan says death is just the beginning. So obviously we're not sure what that means at the time, but Max turns him back and smashes the switch with his shoe. So I think that was way too soon for that. I mean, they could have listened to Duncan for a little bit longer. He could have gave them some details. Jamie maybe could have threatened to kill him, or held a gun to his head or something like that, and made him speak and tell them stuff. But way too soon that Max smashed the switch and turned him back. So, and of course they get Mitch, and he doesn't remember at all what Duncan was saying. So then this is where the ending starts, and this was crazy. So Abe sends the data, and it's slowly being decoded, out of this format, and the data is from this red blinking light, and he's sending this to Dariella to locate the nests around the world, or the beacons, sorry, using this red blinking device in a backwards manner. So he's on the phone with her. He apologizes to her for some of the stuff he said. There's a warm moment between the two, and Dariella also says sorry, and it's really it's a good moment to see them kind of bonding again, maybe getting back together as a couple, and then all of a sudden in the background we see Abigail getting up, from the hospital bed, oh my god, it's so creepy too, because you just slowly see her getting up. And I didn't see it at the beginning. I actually rewind on my TV, and it was really? That's insane. And so I had to see it again. So then Abe says, I love you on the phone, hangs up, and all of a sudden, he gets stabbed from behind by Abigail, crazy. He turns around then, and she stabs him again in the chest, but it was kind of like that. It was a hard stab. And it was right in the chest region, not his heart. I did see that, but right, maybe here, maybe somewhere in the center here, and it was a hard stab right again in the chest. And honestly, I'm gonna be real. I don't think Abe can recover from it. I think it was a really gruesome thing that Abigail did, and I don't know if he can come back from that. I mean, we see him there on the ground, sort of a lot of blood's gushing out. So I don't know, guys. If Abe dies, I'm gonna be really sad, because he's one of my favorite characters. Ananzi is doing a great job in his role, and I don't know. I'd just be really sad if he died. I'm gonna be honest, but anyways, yeah. So we'll have to see next episode. But that's a really gruesome scene, and also an important thing is that Abigail stops the transmission of the data. So that's a big thing for Darielle and the IADG. So then Abigail finds Mitch. He replies to Mitch, and she shoots him. She says, wrong answer. This is just the hectic scene. She then finds Jamie and Max. She shoots them both with no hesitation at all. Then she finds Jackson when he gets back in the vehicle bay. He's really surprised she's still alive. Says, how the hell are you here, or something. And she shoots him. And I don't know, and she says goodbye, brother, and starts walking off the plane. I'm like, what? She just shot every single person on the team in the plane, and she's just out, right? And she says goodbye, brother. So obviously she thinks, he's dead. Now, I don't think Jackson is going to die, obviously. Like, he's way too important of a character. But, yeah, that's crazy. And then we see Clem, of course, get out of the tank, and she looks like 9 months pregnant. Like, maybe even past 9 months. Like, she is huge, with a huge stomach, right? And, she's calling, like, hello, hello, like, where is everyone? And she doesn't know what's going on. And that's how the episode ends. So, man, I don't know what to say. Like, it was an unbelieving ending to the episode. Such a big twist. And it was a really good song choice as well. During this whole hectic scene, they had this music in the background. I love that. It was great. But yeah, like, such a big twist. I did not see it coming at all. Great writing on the part of the show for that. And very suspenseful. I mean, is everyone going to live? I don't know. I think that the gunshot wounds, I think that those people are going to live, but I think this may be the end of the line for Abe, sadly. I don't know. I don't think he can recover from that, but we'll see. But they all look like kind of lower body shots. She kind of aimed the gun down, so if it hit them in the leg, yeah, maybe they can't walk for a little bit, but I think they're all going to survive. But Abe, I don't know. So, anyways, really suspenseful ending to a pretty good episode. And just hectic, man. Like, after watching this, I was like, what? Like, I thought it was a dream sequence the whole time. I don't think it was real, but I think it is real, guys. So, I don't know what to say. So, anyways, now I'll get to my rating for this episode. Alright, so for this crazy episode, my rating, it's going to be 4.8 out of 5. And I noticed that this might be a little high. There were some things I didn't like, but the ending was just amazing. It was just well done. Probably, some of I would call it one scene, although we kind of switched around, but probably one of the best scenes of Zoo, ever. I thought it was a crazy, crazy scene, that Abigail, is alive somehow, and she's dead. Like, she was dead for sure. She blacked out, her no heartbeat. She died, and then all of a sudden she's alive. And this comes back to when Duncan said, "Death is just the beginning." So obviously, some big stuff's gonna go down in the last 3 episodes here. We only have 3 more. And I mean, I don't know. Like, is she unkillable? Like, can you not kill her? I don't know what's going on. She's got to have something, some sort of, kryptonite or something like that can kill her. Because, I mean, her heart's not, like, and she's not dead. So, I don't know what's going on. Obviously, there's got to be something that can kill her. And they got to find that and finally be done with her. I will say, I wouldn't mind to see her die, and see her, like, just be done. Because she's been a villain in this show for basically the whole season, right? Since, like, episode 2 or 3. So, I don't know. I think, yeah, it's good to have a villain for a while. Have, an objective for them to defeat the villain. But I don't know. It's just kind of getting old. Like, the things she does don't really surprise me. Like, the thing with maybe even killing the baby, if she did that purposely, that wouldn't really surprise me, So, I don't know. I think that, I think it's getting a little bit old. But I think, yeah, so I would have been fine if she died. So I wasn't a huge fan of that, but the way they brought her back was amazing. So I'm okay with it for that. Dariella's storyline just pissed me off. I'm going to be honest. Like, it just frustrated me to no end that, she goes back with Isaac. That was her whole point. And then she just goes back to the IADG and leaves Isaac. So, I don't know. She should have just stayed on the plane then if she was going to do that. But anyways, whatever, right? I mean, whatever. The rest of it was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have any other concerns. I like the Agent Garrison thing. I like that Logan still has a little bit of a storyline in this one, with the nests and everything. I like the whole Duncan and Mitch thing. That's still being well done. And I really like Max being in the show again. I think that's good. I think he was a good dynamic in this one. Just another good character in this one. So, anyways, my favorite character for this is Jamie Campbell, played by Kristen Connolly, of course. And yeah, she's great. I mean, she's been great since season 1. Yeah, I mean, yeah, she was basically the main character in season 1, really, at the very beginning. Her and Mitch were kind of the main guys, or the main players, and then Jackson and Abe kind of came from Africa as well. And then they kind of joined forces there. But yeah, she was great in this episode. I love the way that she kind of played Duncan, and got what she wanted. I like the fact that she committed to killing Abigail because she's learned from the past. They don't kill these bad guys, lack for a better term, then they keep coming back. They keep hurting them in some way. So I really understood her viewpoint of this. Of Abigail had to die, and she was hell bent on her death, and she did whatever she had to do, even not turning Duncan back to Mitch. To do it. So yeah, really good dedication there from Jamie. I didn't argue at all, with her ways in this. Yeah, I like the way that she's just so curious, and the way the storyline this season for her is awesome. Like, I like the way that they're kind of in the 10 years they really had a lot of changes for her, more than any of the other characters, and I like that. She kind of has a new role in the show, switching things up. After 3 seasons, stuff can get pretty tiring, the same old characters. So I like the way they did that for great writing, and Kristen Connolly's doing a great job in the role. She's a great actor, and she's part of this cast. They do such a great job, in all the episodes, really. So, anyways, guys, I think that'll just about do it. Crazy episode, insane ending. Yeah, so I liked it a lot. So next week's episode is going to be crazy. Hopefully you'll find out who's alive, who may be dead. I don't know. I do have to say, spoilers here, I guess. Not really, though. But I did look on the IMDb page for next episode. I don't know if I should say this, but alright. Spoilers ahead, okay? You guys can click off now if you want. But I did look on the IMDb page, and Nonzo Anazi is listed for next episode. So, that could mean he's in a flashback, or it could mean he's still alive, or it could mean maybe he's on his deathbed. I don't know, but I had to look, and I just want to tell you guys that. So, and it's public information, right? It's not really a spoiler. So, anyways, if you guys want to go on there and look for yourselves, you can. But yeah, so it looks like he will be in next episode some way. So we'll see if he's alive or dead. But if he's dead, I'm going to be really sad, guys. So just telling you now. But anyways, and I bet a lot of people are. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for the support on the videos lately. And if you haven't, and you have seen the Hitman's Bodyguard movie, please go into my channel, watch the review that I did with my friend. We put quite a lot of time in it, and I'd love to get some support on that video. So yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week for Zoo Season 3, Episode 11.